I'm not sure what's up. Oh, there we go. Okay. That took a second. We're using a GoPro instead of my iPhone this time. Eddie, how's it going? Good to see you in the chat. We'll give it just a few minutes so that our folks can come on in. Pour myself a glass of white wine. Gonna be making some risotto tonight. If anybody else is in the chat, please say hi. Tell me where you're from. Okay, let's see. Howdy from Houston. Thomas, how's it going? Thanks for joining us. Hope you're doing well down there. Okay, let's just start, all right? Guys, tonight I'm going to be making risotto for you. I'm going to walk you through step-by-step how I make risotto. And if you have any questions, you can ask along the way. I'll try to answer them while I'm cooking, but I'll do a more formal Q&A afterwards as well, okay? AJ from Elk Ridge, Maryland, fan of cooking. Gotcha, man. Thanks for joining us. Illinois, awesome. Moving to New Hampshire. Hey, I grew up in Massachusetts, so pretty close to there. New England, go Sox. Got to go to bed in a while. Hi from Spain. Yeah, I imagine, what do you, you're probably what, 5 or 6 hours ahead? Is that right? Michael, hey, what's happening? All right, let's start. Tim with Kitchen and Craft. I am going to make some risotto for you guys tonight. I'm going to walk you through the step-by-step process that I follow when I'm making risotto. There's a few different ways that you can cook it, but this is my process, all right? So I have a pot over here that I'll be cooking my risotto in. I've got stock hot and ready. I'm using chicken stock. Made that yesterday, okay? I have a little topping for my risotto that I'll talk about in, toward the end when I have my risotto plated. Over here, I have my rice. This is a short grain rice. It's called Carnaroli, okay? Arborio rice is more ubiquitous. You'll find that at pretty much any supermarket, but I'm using Carnaroli. It doesn't quite make as gluey of a risotto. And what I mean by that is these rice grains, okay? Arborio rice has a layer of starch on the outside, a thicker outer layer of starch. Carnaroli has a thinner outer layer of starch. So risotto rice has 2 layers of starch, an inner and an outer. This Carnaroli has a thinner outer layer, so it doesn't shed as much starch when I'm cooking it and sort of agitating the risotto as I cook. So it's going to give me a looser end product. I prefer that, okay? I don't like a really thick risotto. I like one that's a little bit looser. We also have some garlic and some onion. Got some Parmesan here that I'll add toward the end. Of course, plenty of butter. Okay, you need plenty of butter for this. And I'm gonna add some fresh herbs. I'm gonna add actually a ton of parsley to mine. I want kind of a bright, fresh flavor in my risotto. But you don't have to do that. That's totally optional. So yeah, let's see. My work team in Massachusetts, right on. Okay, guys, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start by cutting my onion. I gotta cut that into some small dice, all right? You don't have to cut it, you could grate it if you want to, but I prefer to do just a sort of a fine dice on my onion. There. And if you're looking for ingredients, measurements, all that good stuff, that is in the video description box below the video. Okay. There, we want to get every bit of this, so I'm just going to make some more incisions. There, just like that. It's good enough for the portion of risotto that I'm making tonight. Okay. Now, I need to add a few tablespoons of butter to my pot. And I'm going to put that over like medium-low heat. I'm gonna let that melt entirely. Then I'm gonna add my onions, and I'm gonna add a little bit of garlic too. So I'm gonna chop that up while the butter's melting. 2 garlic cloves should do it. There. See. Ah, Jody, you're making my potato rolls. Right on, man. Love it. Tell me how they turn out. Leave me a comment in the video if you wouldn't mind. Just let me know how they turn out. If you want to share a photo of it, you can hit me up on Instagram. That's @KitchenCraftFood. I'm kind of active on there. It's kind of hard to manage YouTube and Instagram and work a 9-to-5 and and hang out with my family all at the same time. So I'm not on Instagram as much as I am on YouTube, but I'd love to see a photo of your potato rolls. So yeah, I'm going to give this a bit of a mince, okay? We don't want any giant chunks of garlic. Nice camera work. That's Chris. What's up, Chris? Good to see you, man. Thanks for the help earlier. I appreciate it. Yeah, good. We're minced. Is my butter melted? Yeah. That's what you're looking for right there. All right. Let's grab a towel. Eddie, oh, thank you, Eddie. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much, man. Any charcuterie videos coming soon? Also, what's your favorite cut of pork? Can't wait for the donut recipe. Yeah, that should be coming out Monday or Tuesday, Eddie. Cut of pork. I gotta say, I'm kind of a fan of pork shoulder. I like to make barbecue, so pork shoulder is good for that. And I also like to make carnitas for tacos. So, plus it's fairly inexpensive. You can make a lot of meals with it. So, pork shoulder is my go-to. How about you? What's your favorite cut? Let's see. So, put my onions and my garlic in the pot there. Gonna give it a little bit of a stir, just to make sure that it's all kind of distributed in the butter. And we're gonna soften that, okay? We're not trying to brown it or anything. We're just gonna try to soften it up. Once the onion and the garlic starts to get a little translucent, we're ready to go. All right, clean up my mess here. So risotto is something that is pretty much in our weekly dinner rotation. Wouldn't you say so, honey? My wife's behind the camera, by the way.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Yeah, we eat risotto about once a week. It's just something that we make consistently because it's pretty easy to do. We always have some stock on hand. I always have risotto rice in the pantry. Butter, wine, herbs, cheese, it's all in-house. It's always here all the time, so it's just really easy to make, all right? And when you're making risotto, sometimes people say, oh, it takes too long. Well, it really doesn't. I mean, once you start ladling the stock in, it should take about, I don't know, 18 to 20 minutes. I don't think that's that long to make, to make dinner. All in all, total cleanup and everything, maybe a half an hour. I think that's pretty quick. All right, and then you do it a few times, you get faster at it, and the process just becomes a lot smoother. Crispy pork belly, nice. Yeah, that's a good one too, man. We don't have pork belly a lot in this house. I might do it on occasion, but it's just not something that we typically have on hand. Shoulder, though, I usually always have a shoulder in the freezer if I need one, and quickly, like the next day, I'll just thaw it out. But pork belly, maybe I'll do a how to make bacon at home video. Would that be cool? Eddie, that's some charcuterie, right? I mean, or would you like to see something more like force meat orientated, like a sausage or something? Is that kind of what you're thinking in terms of charcuterie? All right, we're looking pretty good over here. Next step for me is I'm going to add my rice to this pot, all right? All I want to do is I want to coat the rice in this butter. I'm not trying to cook it or anything. I'm just trying to heat it up and coat it. That's all. That way when the rice is hot and it's coated in the butter, it'll absorb the starch or absorb the stock better. All right, so that's going in. And I'm using all of the measurements that I put in the video description box. So feel free to check those out and use that. It provides my family, the three of us, with plenty to eat at dinner, and then a little bit left over that I can turn into arancini the next day if I want to. So I'm just going to coat the rice here. Stir it around, just coat it in the butter, all right? And then just kind of let it rest. We'll just let it sit there for a second and get warm. I've got the pot over medium heat. Let's see. When did you start cooking? Oh, let's see. Maybe 20 years ago? About 20 years ago. I was an executive chef for a little over a decade. And before that, obviously like a sous chef and a line cook. I started off washing dishes actually at a brewery in town here in Richmond called Legend Brewery. And then I kind of transitioned to a line cook position, and from there kind of moved my way up. I don't work in professional kitchens anymore. I just cook at home, kind of like you guys, or most of you at least. Yeah. Oops, I just love the whole hog. Wish I could cook a whole hog. That's not something I can accommodate here, unfortunately. All right, so our rice is nice and hot. Next thing I gotta add, a little bit of white wine. Probably add about a half a cup here. And you wanna hear a sizzle when this wine goes in, all right? Yeah. Just like that. Give it a stir. Just so that all of the rice touches it. Now we're going to let this absorb, okay? The starch from the rice will thicken the risotto as it cooks. Right now we want that rice, that grain of rice to absorb the liquid. So let's let that do its thing. I'm going to grab my ladle over here, get that ready for my stock. Yeah, smells great. Okay. I know this is annoying AF. I'm sorry. Can you show your sleeve off a bit? Yeah, actually, this has been I don't know if you guys want to see. This has been a work in progress since July. In fact, I just got some work done. What was it? A few days ago. And so it's a bit tender and it's, you know, kind of dry. But yeah, this is, I have a chess piece. So this is connected to the chess piece. This is my son's zodiac sign and the dragon's mine. And then the blossoms are all good luck, and clouds, and there's some wind in here. Yeah. So yeah, doesn't tickle, let me tell you, man. Definitely doesn't tickle. Okay, so the rice has absorbed all of the wine. You can see here it's starting to kind of stick to the bottom of the pan a little bit. All right, can't really see any more liquid in there. So I'm going to start ladling in my chicken stock. And I do the sort of one, maybe two ladles at a time method here. Just give the rice a little bit of a stir. Here we go. Okay, we don't want this boiling away. We want it at a light simmer. Nothing too crazy. All right. Now, the rice is going to absorb the liquid, okay? And the rice is going to then sort of swell up. And this dish will give me probably 2.5 to 3 times as much as you see in the pot right now. So it does, you know, kind of bulk up in volume, which is great because it gives me plenty of leftover risotto, which I love. I think my son's favorite thing in the world is arancini, so if I can give that to him for lunch during school one day, that's great. Beats the hell out of school lunch, right? So there we go. So this is just sort of a slow process here of letting the rice absorb the liquid, stirring the rice occasionally. You don't have to constantly stir it. I know some folks will argue with me and say otherwise, but I'm sort of, my method is sort of, I stir, I make sure that the rice and the water and the liquid that's in the pot is sort of evenly distributed. I stir it occasionally as the rice is absorbing the liquid, but I'm not sitting there the whole time stirring the rice. I'm just not. But frequently, okay? So I'm gonna watch, observe, make sure the rice isn't, the liquid isn't totally absorbed and the rice starts burning the bottom of the pan. I wanna keep an eye on it. Once 99% of that liquid is evaporated or absorbed rather, I'm gonna ladle more stock into the pot. Let's see. Found your channel last week. Really love the content. Great job. Thanks, Jody. I appreciate that. Eddie's a fan. I appreciate that, Eddie. I really appreciate the support. You're really kind. Thank you so much. That's a chef's son for sure, having arancini for lunch. Yeah, it's true. But I don't want any of this to go to waste, right? It's perfectly good risotto. In fact, I could probably just add a little bit more liquid and heat it up and just agitate it and eat it again and it'd be fine. But nothing's quite as good as risotto fresh straight out of the pot. Second best is the arancini, or backwards if you're my kid. So the liquid here, okay, you can see, if you look in here, we're getting pretty close. See, there's really not much left in the pot there. This is an indication for me that it's time to add some more stock, we're gonna do that right now. Okay, maybe a little bit more, just like that. Just stir it all around. Make sure everything is evenly distributed. God, it's starting to smell really good. Perfect. See how it's simmering right there? I'm gonna dial it down just a little bit more. See that? That's where I like it, okay? Just barely at a simmer, barely. When you stir it, not simmering at all. Would you mind making a Polish Neapolitan pizza recipe? I hope that I'm not annoying requesting so many vids. No, not at all, Si. Yeah, so I covered my version of a biga, which is a little higher in hydration than a typical biga. And by biga, I mean a pre-ferment, a dry, fairly dry pre-ferment. And a Polish is obviously, I believe it's 100% hydration. And sure, I can cover that. I haven't made pizza with a Polish pre-ferment before, but happy to give it a go. So yeah. Have you checked out the recipe or the video that I did with the biga pre-ferment? Is risotto rice or pasta? You're not dumb. No, that's not a dumb question. It's rice, okay? It is a grain of rice. Oh, I don't have any more. Here, hold on a sec. Here. Breaking out the fancy stuff tonight, the acquarello. So this is risotto rice here. It's a short grain. Okay. This is Carnaroli. This is actually longer in length than, let's say, like an arborio rice or a violoni nano. There's three different types or three different sizes of risotto rice. There's semi-fino, fino, and super fino. This Carnaroli, I believe, is super fino, so it's the largest type of risotto rice. There's a type called violoni nano, which is sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here, a semi-fino, which is the smallest grain. And that would be used more, I believe, for like, I'm probably gonna get chastised here. I think it's used more for soups and stuff. I could be wrong. You can make risotto too with it, for sure. Arborio is again, is ubiquitous to make risotto, but I find that my risotto, if you're not careful, kind of turns out really gluey and thick with arborio because that outer layer of starch on the grain of rice, it falls off and then it just thickens up the risotto too much. And there's not enough of that inner starch to absorb the liquid and it just kind of gets gluey to me. But Carnaroli is sort of a nice in-between arborio and something like violoni nano. So I use that as much as I can if I can find it. Thank you to Booth Hardy over at Barrel Thief. So he reached out to me and said he had some Carnaroli in stock and I went over there and picked it up. So if you're in town and if you're in Richmond and you're looking for Carnaroli rice, Barrel Thief has it, I know that. All right. You can see we're coming up on another stock addition here. There's a little bit more liquid this time, so I'm going to wait for that to disappear here. Wait for the rice to absorb that liquid, and then we'll continue adding stock. All right. It's a bit of a process here. It's kind of repetitive, but this is how I make risotto. This is a traditional way to make risotto. You might even find folks will, find that they'll argue that you got to stir it the whole time, and that's great and that works. But I find like I can make a really good risotto without having to stir it every second. My risotto was like Elmer's glue using a Boreo. Yeah, Jody, that's right. And there's a kind of a very narrow margin of error there with a Boreo. So you got to be really careful not to over stir it and not to over agitate it. It will break down. That outer layer of starch will break down, and it'll thicken up your risotto quite a bit. Let's see. Thank you, Norma. I appreciate that. She's a good teacher. Kaucha, you're welcome. Now, is it Alina RVA? Is that your handle? Am I pronouncing your name right? Please let me know. You're always on. I appreciate your support. I just want to make sure I'm pronouncing your name properly. Do I have an oyster dressing recipe for Thanksgiving? I've never made oyster dressing. We've always just used traditional stuffing. But I'm happy to give it a try. I just don't know that I can come up with a video for you before this Thanksgiving. I'd have to make some, test it, adjust my recipe because I've never done it before, and I just don't want to throw a recipe out there that I haven't kind of honed in on and narrowed down to something that I'm happy with. So no oyster stuffing recipe for this Thanksgiving, but maybe I can get to that next year. Sound good? Okay, we've got to add some more liquid here. Stock going in. How's my battery life doing here? Cool. We're filming on the GoPro this time instead of the iPhone. So this is a first for us. Thinking the video quality is maybe a little bit better. The image stabilization I think is better than my iPhone, so hopefully you guys like it. It's good quality for y'all. Okay. Let's bring this up. I'm starting to lose my simmer here. So the cheese that I'm using at the end of this process, I'm using Parmigiano. You can use some other very hard types of cheese if you want to, but traditionally Parm is what's used, or Grana Padano actually is probably what's more traditional, but I've got Parmesan on hand here and I'm gonna use that. And like I said, I've got some parsley that I'm gonna chop up real fine. I'm gonna stir that in at the end, give my risotto a really nice, fresh, herbaceous flavor. And since I've got some time here, I've made some tomato confit. I had a few tomatoes left in our garden. We were cleaning out the garden yesterday, and I found a few kind of hanging on the vine. I can't believe they're still here, considering it's been close to freezing out over the last couple of weeks, overnight. But grab those, just made a little bit of confit here with some garlic cloves. And I'm just gonna top my risotto with that, okay? Okay, Gold 187, no. Remove that one. And see you later. Let's see here. Some people, man, they have no tact. Had to remove somebody from the chat. Okay, you want to show them what this is looking like here? See that? Plenty of liquid left. Give it a little bit of stir here. You can see some of the onion in the pot. Can't really see the garlic. Smells great. Cool. Oh, you need to sit here and stir this all night. So we'll continue to let that liquid disappear there, and we'll go back and we'll add more stock. Love the wide angle. Thanks, Chris. Looks great. Thought I got a gimbal. Yeah, the image stabilization of this GoPro is pretty sick. Love it. Quality's really good. Thank you. If you guys have questions while we're kind of moving through the process of making this risotto, please fire away. There'll be some downtime here and there just because I'm kind of doing a repetitious thing here. So fireworks will come at the end when I plate it up. And when we mount the risotto with cheese and butter, that's always fun to watch too. So, yeah. Yeah, I guess I could do that. Cut off the parsley. There we go. Not quite there. Still some liquid left. See that? And let that reduce. Or, sorry, let the rice absorb the liquid. Let's cut the parsley up, all right? Might as well do that. This is just Italian flat leaf parsley. I'm making risotto.
Yeah, nice. I love risotto. I'm just proving to one of my friends that you're actually my dad.
Oh, well, come in here. Whoa, careful. This is my son, AJ.
Hi. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. He's not camera shy, trust me. All right, let's see here. That looks pretty good. Here we go. Your recipe really looks really delicious and easy. It's my favorite. Oh, thank you. Appreciate the rest. Yeah, thank you so much. Love your burnt cheesecake, but I'm gonna skip adding the orange zest next time. Ah, well, hey, yeah, zest can provide a pretty strong flavor. Maybe not avoid it or omit it, but maybe just back off a little bit. Or try lemon zest. Lemon zest would work great too. All right, that looks good. And I think that's gonna be enough, yeah. Here, let's check on the rice again. Nice. So I think we're close enough. A little bit of liquid left, but we're good. Let's add a little more stock. Let's pick this pace up a little bit, shall we? There we go. That. So the outer layer of starch on each grain of rice is dissolving slightly. This is what's going to thicken up our sauce. The inner starch of the grain is going to absorb the liquid, and that's what creates the texture for risotto, as far as I know. And guys, if you need to reference this video later on, I'm going to go back in probably later tonight or tomorrow morning, and I'll timestamp everything so you can kind of just cut to parts of the video that are sort of necessary in the preparation of this recipe. There's a lot of talking and chit-chatting, which is great, and I love it. But if you want it as a resource later on, those timestamps will be there in the progress bar. You can just click around, and you won't have to scrub through all of the chit-chat. Okay, we're simmering. Cool. What we got here? Sai, yeah, you can ask me about pizza. That's cool. Ooh, somebody just commented and said I'm an honest liar. I have no idea what that means. Interesting. I'm an honest liar. Okay, lovely. So Anthony said, why don't you just put all the stock in, throw it in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 18 minutes? Perfect. I've never tried that before. I don't know the results. This is the process that I always use when making risotto. I'm happy with these results. So that's just kind of why I'm showing that to you. I'll give that a try sometime and see how it, see what it does. But this is my process. And in a restaurant, a lot of times, not all restaurants, but when making risotto, the process is lengthy. So some restaurants will par cook the risotto without releasing too much of the starch, cool it down and hold it cold. And then to order, they'll grab some of the risotto, add it to a pan, ladle some stock in, and you're almost like starting at the halfway point. So the pickup time is a lot faster. And you can do that if you eat a ton of risotto and you want it on hand. You could par cook the risotto, bring it about halfway up. Don't agitate it too much. Cool it off, maybe on a sheet pan, a really thin layer, and then transfer it to a container, keep it in your fridge, and then just add it to a pot as needed. Ladle in some hot stock. At the end, mount it with butter and cheese, and you got a risotto. But if I'm making it in bulk for my family, I do it this way, and I don't have any usually par cooked on hand. I do go right from scratch, from beginning to end. But the oven trick, never done that before. There we go. All right, time for more stock. What I like about this process is that I'm stirring the rice and I'm agitating that outer layer of starch on the rice, which is providing a silky, smooth texture as in the finished product, okay? There. It's looking good. Okay, who's it? Let's see. I see so many people go up to 70% hydration on their pizza dough and their unis, but every time I do even 65, my dough stretches super unevenly and tears in the middle. Any tips on what to do? I don't know that that's a hydration thing, Si. That might be like you didn't knead it enough and there's not enough gluten formation in the dough. So if it's stretching unevenly, that tells me that the gluten, there's just not as much gluten activation going on there. So you might want to knead it a little bit more and give that a try. I've done 70% doughs in my uni and they turn out pretty good. I will say that they definitely are, it's a delicate dough. It's a little bit harder to handle, but it does provide really good results. So just give that dough just a little bit more attention when kneading and see if that helps. Okay, here we go. Let's see, this is looking really good here. I'd say we're probably about 2/3 of the way there. I've used about 2/3 of my stock, so yeah, that makes sense. I started off with about 2.5 quarts, and I brought this up a little bit in temp, so it's simmering just a little bit harder, just a little bit. Yeah, a little bit more wine here. Have I made Tuscan chicken? I have not. I haven't made Tuscan chicken. Tell me a little bit about it. Hey, Mr. Krasker, good to see you. It's been a while. I usually run into you over at Steve's channel, right? He says, very nice camera handling. My wife says, thank you very much. Do I have a process for cleaning my cutting boards? So I don't have a fancy, like a pretty wooden cutting board here. This is plastic. So what I do is I just soap and water in the kitchen, or in the sink rather. Pretty hard bristled brush, and just scrub the heck out of it. If it starts to get, like if I start to see stains and stuff, you can always bleach a rag and then just lay that over the cutting board, and that should take most of those spots up. That's what we do in restaurants. When I was cooking, we'd bleach our boards and then just soap and water, scrub that off, clean it, dry it, you're good to go. Okay. Yeah, this is looking good, man. Starting to get kind of creamy. Yeah. All right, come over here, take a look at this. Can you guys see sort of a change in texture happening here? See that? It's starting to get kind of nice and creamy in there. Yeah, that looks great. This rice is holding up really well. You know, it's not disintegrating on me or anything like that. Looks great. Good quality rice. Okay. Back to the chat. Sai said, oh man, I just want to stuff my face in that. Hey, if you lived in Richmond, man, come on over, we'll have some dinner. Yeah, guys, you got questions, fire away. It's looking good. I think I need to taste this and see if we're on the right track in terms of al dente. We're getting there. A few more minutes. A few more minutes. Yeah. That. Good. Okay. Need some more stock. It's starting to stick. I'd say maybe this and then a little bit of stock to finish. Just a little bit more and we'll be there. We'll mount this with butter and cheese. I'll stir in my herbs. I'll plate it up. We'll have a taste. There. Do you add salt, pepper to risotto? Yeah, you do. You definitely season it to taste. Okay, that's not something you add at the beginning. That's something you add at the end. Remember, Parmesan, Grana, Pecorino, any hard cheese like this, very salty. So add your ingredients, right? Make your risotto, finish your risotto. Okay, taste it, and then adjust the risotto with salt and pepper as needed. Okay, and then there might be some other ingredients that you add to your risotto that will change the flavor or make it saltier. So in the end, you may not need salt, okay? Can we do the rice in mixture? I'm not sure. Can you elaborate on that for me, please? I'm not sure what you're referring to. I want to answer your question. I just need a little bit more information from you. All right, Alina? Let's see. Maneka, you haven't told me what Tuscan chicken is yet. You got to tell me if you're still there. What's in Tuscan chicken? Is it like a cacciatore, like a hunter-style chicken? Is that what you're referring to? Or is it like a chicken under a brick? Is that what it is? I'm not sure what Tuscan chicken is, but I want to know. It sounds good. All right, another taste. That's good. Hot. Very hot. Okay. Time to add butter and cheese. So, I got my parm right here. This is about 3/4 of a cup. I'm probably not gonna put all of that in. But I'm gonna put plenty of it. Okay? I'm gonna cut the heat. And I'm gonna agitate and agitate. This is what's going to give me the texture I'm looking for, okay? I want that nice, creamy texture. Yeah. Okay. Maybe needs just a little bit more heat. Just a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with my butter. And I'm going to add, I don't know, this is going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4. Try 4 tablespoons. Seems like a lot, but it really isn't. And I'm just going to agitate. I'm stirring the heck out of it, okay? I believe this is what's called the mantecatura. The process of whipping in or beating in the butter and the cheese. There we go. Look at how creamy that is. See that? I'm gonna let that sit for just a second, and then I'll give it a taste, and we'll finish it up. What's my go-to parm? Chris, it's whatever legit Parmigiano Reggiano is in the store at that time. More or less. I usually buy it in block form and grate it, but if I'm gonna use a ton of it, I'll usually buy it like legit parm, but just already grated. So in this case, this parm, this is real Parmesan, okay? It's not Bellagioso or something that resembles parm, but not legit parm. It is real parm, but the store grates it for you and packages it up. So I bought a container of that just so I didn't have to grate a ton of it. But typically we always have a block on hand that I use to finish off pastas and stuff with. Do I use salted or unsalted? I always use unsalted butter, okay? And that's because I can add salt if I want to. I don't need the butter salted already. I can adjust whatever I'm cooking with salt on its own, okay? Okay, this is looking really good. You can see this is the type of creaminess I'm talking about right here. Okay. That looks great. Let me grab a plate. Let's see here. This one looks good. Yeah. Plate right here. Yeah. Let me just taste it a little bit. Use a teeny bit of salt. So I'm going to do that. There. A little bit of cracked black pepper. Here. Now, before I dump all this parsley in here, I got to pull some out for my son because he's not going to like that too much. Kids and green stuff, that doesn't go very well. So, let me do that. Perfect. Now, grab the parsley. Going right in. Good amount of parsley here. This is just what I'm doing, okay? You don't have to do this, but I like it. Really nice, fresh flavor. Yeah, beautiful. Okay. Let's come on over, plate it up. Just like that. Get a garlic clove in here too, huh? Perfect. There we go. Time to taste. Do I serve a protein with my risotto? You know what? I don't typically do that. You can, and in restaurants I see it a lot, but when I make risotto at home, I'm just making risotto. I'm not making anything else. Asked if you need wine. Okay, thank you, Anthony. Do you need wine with risotto? Personally, I would say yes, okay? That little bit of acidity really helps balance with the richness of the dish. But if you do not drink alcohol, I would suggest either omitting or finding something, you know, sometimes they sell like non-alcoholic wine, or maybe adding a little bit of, I don't want to say vinegar, I don't know, something slightly acidic. You could even use a little bit of lemon juice maybe in the risotto as a good substitute for wine, but that little bit of acidity really helps not only elevate the flavors in the risotto, but it helps balance the dish out with a lot of that butter and the cheese that you're using in the risotto itself. Thomas said maybe white wine vinegar. I've never tried that before. You could try that. I might try lemon juice first or some other citrus juice instead of white wine vinegar, but if you don't like the citrus, then maybe try a little white wine vinegar. But for me, it's always a little bit of white wine. And then in some cases, depending on the type of risotto I'm making, a little bit of red wine, okay? That is the best looking risotto I have seen on YouTube yet. Mr. Krasker, I appreciate that. So here we go. I'm gonna taste this. Get a tomato in here. Last of the season for us. That's really good. My God. Hit this with a little bit of cheese on top. Not that I haven't put enough on there already, right? There we go. I love the confit on top. That's really good. Another little hit of acidity and sweetness too. Nothing like a really good homegrown tomato. Reminds me of Adam Ragusa with all of the wine talk. Adam Ragusa. Man, we did a collab before he totally blew up. He makes good content though, no doubt. Could you add capers to a risotto? Not to substitute acid, but just to add more? Yeah, absolutely. And I might even say that if you're making a seafood risotto, capers might be a really nice addition to a seafood risotto. But I wouldn't go too heavy on it. I would go light on the capers because they do pack a punch, right? Yes, the plating. I'm driving to Richmond, OMG. Okay, well, I'm gonna nibble a little bit here, and I'll answer some additional questions if you guys have any. And then I'm gonna finish the rest of that. I'm gonna put it in a bowl and feed my wife and my son. Simon Hopkinson of Bibendium used to burn off the wine with a lighter. Really? Burn off the wine? You mean like before he added it to the risotto, before he added it to the pot, he would kill the alcohol and then add it? Is that what you're saying? Eddie, why did I leave the kitchen? Well, I will say that kitchen life isn't always awesome when you have a family at home, because when you're in a professional kitchen, you're working a crap ton of hours. And not that that's a bad thing if you don't have anything else on your plate and like anything else aside from the restaurant or the kitchen that you're working in. But for me, I had a young child and I had a wife at home and I never saw them. And I had an opportunity to get out, to leave the business and transition into a different career, and I took it because I wanted to spend more time at home with my family. And this channel is my way to kind of keep in touch with cooking and to still sort of serve food to people, to make people happy, with the comfort of food. I'm not doing it physically, but this is why I started what I'm doing now on YouTube. Bet my family's hungry. Thank you so much for your wonderful instruction and guidance. You are an awesome teacher, and I really appreciate you. Thomas, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I thank you for your support. Not easy to be on YouTube doing this sort of thing and actually get seen. There's so many people doing what I'm doing here. So I appreciate you finding me and subscribing, hopefully, and watching this live stream. Thank you for the support. Maneka, thank you. Yes, anytime. I don't do a ton of live streams anymore, but maybe this is a good indication that I should start that back up. Also, I'm doing a cider donut, an apple cider donut recipe video that should be uploaded on YouTube either tomorrow or Tuesday. It's looking more like Tuesday now, but keep an eye out for that. That's going to be a good one. It really is. Really happy with the footage that I've edited so far. And #1 chef with no BS videos and legit content, who is also nice to his audience. Oh, thank you, Sai. I appreciate that. That's really nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to make videos for you guys in a way and explain it in a way that's easy to understand and stuff that you can do at home. I'm not trying to do anything crazy, cutting edge. I'm just trying to make really good food, trying to explain it nicely, and deliver it to you guys so you can enjoy it like I do. Chris, thanks. Creative caption and video. Appreciate it. Think that's going to do it, guys. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't see any more questions popping up. Let me feed my family, all right? It's good catching up with everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'll try to do another live stream soon, promise. But keep up to date with the videos that I do upload on my channel by hitting the subscribe and the bell. That's a bell notification. It's going to let you know whenever I do anything on my channel. I also do post comments in the community section with pictures and whatnot, questions, polls, stuff like that. Just a way to stay connected to you guys. So keep an eye on the community section of my channel as well. And yeah, that'll do it for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. I will catch you next time. All right.